Hello and welcome to Sophisticulture. We have a really exciting episode for you today. Amaris will be joining us to discuss Marty Supreme. I am excited to hear her point of view on it as a film and also kind of explain myself. We'll see you on the other side. Okay, I am here with Amaris, and Amaris, just so you know, my camera is here and my screen is down here, so I'm going to be looking at you, but the camera, like, it's going to be a bit of a
Yeah, I
mismatch.
have my
But
I have my notes on my iPad right here, so I'm gonna be doing
iconic.
this.
The eye lines are going to be fantastic. So,
Right.
Amaris, we had a discussion in, I think it was in the comment section of my Marty Supreme excerpt or my review, because I loved it as a film, as a political metaphor, specifically probably because as the wars kicked off in Iran, I'm just kind of going, it's the same things happening again.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I had that. But you were like, oh no, bestie, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, the one person that I want to hear the opposing side of this argument from is Amaris. Like, let's do this.
I fucking
So
hate this movie.
I was like, get on. I need to hear this, and I need it on the pod. So I am gonna let you just run free, like info dump
Okay.
everything because I know you just finished watching it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna completely let it run, and then I'm gonna take my notes like a good debate club,
Okay.
golly, and rebut. Right. We're
Okay.
gonna we're gonna really do this. So okay, amazing. Go for it.
My first point is the one thing that we have about Marty when we first of all, we meet him and within 15 minutes he's pulling a gun. Okay.
Well,
Okay. We're already pulling a gun within the first 15 minutes. He's pulling a gun and he's sleeping with someone else's wife. A pattern that he
mm,
likes to do. So we
mm,
already know he's like a cheater, a liar, a like whatever. But the one piece of whatever that we're supposed to like have empathy for him for is his uncle isn't paying him what is owed to him or whatever. That's
mm,
what we're supposed to feel bad for him or whatever, that he has this dream and no one's supporting him.
mm.
But by the end of the movie, after we've seen him drag other vulnerable communities into his shit, a pregnant woman and a black man, and another white woman, after
Well,
we see him, who is like, there's questions around the fact that, side note, the fact that I like Gwyneth Paltrow in a movie. Do you know how
no,
bad the movie
listen,
has to
listen.
be?
A crime,
The
a
fact that
crime
I'm
against the
agreeing and I
Geneva
like Gwyneth
Convention.
Paltrow in a movie. Are you kidding me? Do you know how bad the movie has to be? Like that
I'm
woman is
serious.
so insufferable, and the fact that I was like on her side, this movie sucks. This movie is bad. Like I'm so
You know what?
irritated.
Like that is such a good point.
Hello?
I never love her in movies. Like it is a crime under the Geneva Convention that you make me root for Gwyneth Paltrow
I'm
characters.
rooting
Like
for Gwyneth
please.
Paltrow, and I feel bad for her. Do you know how bad the movie has to be?
Oof. You know what? Yes, very good point. Very,
Because oh my
very.
god! But I say all that to say it's like he drags Tyler the Creator. He has a family. He's a taxi driver in New York City in 1952. He fucked up his cab, his way of making his own money,
Yeah.
and yet, Tyler the Creator. Hey, Mouse. Hey, what? Like he never faces consequences for everything. Gwyneth Paltrow gives him again. Why did she give him the necklace in the first place?
Mm,
But then, okay, you give him the necklace, whatever, bitch. But then he lulls you into like in the open air Central Park in 1952. You're getting caught. She has to give the cops the necklace to bribe them to let them go because she's a high profile bitch. So, and then you're saying, "Can I get another necklace?" It's like it's the entitlement of it all that really like grinds my gears with this movie. And then again, in the end, this is why I don't like Marty Supreme, and I don't like Marty as a character because I love unlikable characters. I don't like him because he stands for nothing. He has zero integrity. Even like characters who are like disgusting, they stand on their shit. Marty doesn't
true.
stand on anything. He shits on the Globetrotters, says it's beneath him, and then we see him do it, which is supposed to be like this humbling, like, oh, he had a dream and he failed, but it doesn't work because we just watched it. He just was talking shit. So
Yeah.
like I'm not buying the humbleness of that moment. Like every moment that we have where we're supposed to feel bad, A, it's something that he directly caused that was 100% avoidable. And B, it's like, no, you suck. There's no, and then we see it. He does it with Gwyneth Paltrow, and he does it with the billionaire. I don't know, another aspect of this movie that's
Mr.
disgusting.
Mr. Vampire.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful. Him, the wife, Gwyneth Paltrow's
Yeah.
wife. We see him like put on the act. Literally, we know he's pretending to be apologetic and humble and begging. Like, we know he does not mean that shit every time he does it. And it's interesting, the only one that buys it is the white man. Hello? The only one who buys his shit is the white guy with money. And he's still able to go to Tokyo.
Notes. And
he wins Tokyo. Like, oh my, it's like, I've never, at one point in my notes, like at the end, I literally said, he better not win. I said, he better not win. Like, and that's why I say that this movie, it's not that it's a bad movie. I think it's done well. It's not enjoyable. And for that reason, it's a bad movie. Like, you can have a movie with shitty people and shitty themes and all the things, but if I'm miserable watching your movie, and the first people are saying Marty Supreme next to Sinners, babe.
No. Like, it'll never be
I don't think that you are, but I'm just like other people. The fact that
No, yeah. And
it's like
I'm telling you,
we're having this conversation. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, just on the character development alone, Marty Supreme does not touch what Ryan Coogler did with Sinners. It doesn't touch it.
Not even close. Okay, so I'm gonna start backwards. So I'm gonna literally start from that.
I was all over the place, but I just
no. I could, like, brilliant arguments. The fact that Marty Supreme as a film could even be put, like, I think it was a mistake to put 10 films in Best Picture, actually. I think 5 was, because you're, at this point, although I do think Sorry Baby and No Other Choice and all these things were snubbed, and I think you can replace a lot of the films that are in there with those films, because specifically, if you, the context of Best Picture is these are the 10 best, or if you even want to just say 10 films this year that the Academy is putting in conversation with one another. These now 10 films will be in conversation with one another ad infinitum because they were nominated in the same year with each other in that year. The fact that because of that, I am having to have discussions about Sinners next to Marty Supreme,
and F1?
Formula One, and Begonia. I want to chuck my phone out the window. Are you joking?
And you know what? Because you said that F1, I could not stop thinking about that movie when I was watching this, because I said it was self-insert fan fiction for like Gen X white men. You said it was propaganda. Marty Supreme is F1 for millennial men.
Yes,
everything. It's a wet dream of, because it's the fact that he doesn't earn, and the projection of it all. When he yells at this 8-month pregnant woman that he knocked up in the first 3 seconds of the movie, and he tells her, "You're a product of all your bad decisions," that whole monologue. Oh my God, I was so enraged, because literally, that is you, and you're not getting it. And at no point in the movie do we see him get it, or does anybody acknowledge that and address it with him. It's just like, he's allowed to exist, and by the end, he wins the tournament. He goes back home to his pregnant wife that was shot because of him, that he left in a hospital. He gets to be at her bedside, and then he's crying at his baby. What are we talking about?
Okay, here we go. Okay, get ready, because this is where I think the way I interpreted the film as metaphorical saves it, even if this entire film was made by dumb people who genuinely believe all of the morals and values within it, right? So first and foremost, I do want to say, I think a good 30% of what doesn't work about Marty Supreme is because Timothée Chalamet does not properly get a hold on the character for the entire film.
I can get behind that.
He is reheating nachos he did for some other performance. Like, there's the sense that he did something, right?
Yeah.
There's the sense that he did something crazy here. He did something really transformative. This is just, it has the energy of, like, Wonka a little bit. Like, it's crazy.
It's crazy because I was towards the end of it, I was like, this is just him. Like the press tour, because I think I posted a video. I was like, I thought the press tour "I'm the Greatest" was a bit for the movie, because I knew the title's Marty Supreme, and it's like an arrogant, and we're talking about ping pong. That's a whole element of it. I can't even
I have a point for that too. Because the ping pong bit is the access point for the entire metaphor. Anyway,
I can get behind, because it's like, I'm supposed to be taking this seriously, and we're talking about ping pong, so I can get behind, like, that's meant to be a metaphor. But like you said, I don't think that it was executed well. It just it comes off like F1 rather than, and I think they were doing the same thing, kind of. Yeah. Like, it was kind of,
I agree,
trying to be like this big brain moment of like, men, look at yourselves, but really it's just like a circle jerk. And I'm like, what are we talking about?
Okay, So this is, I completely agree. And I think that's where, like, even if this was a mistake,
Yeah.
what this film ends up doing, maybe in some ways on purpose, but maybe quite a few of the subtle ways by accident, is being a metaphor for kind of post-war American exceptionalism,
Yes.
right? And so once I see Marty Supreme as like Ronald Reagan, so much of the film, I know, so much of the film starts kind of falling into place. So notes, here we go.
Yeah.
So, you were saying we see him, he's pulling a gun.
Yeah.
Well, that's how America generally has operated as a country since its founding. It is founded on intentional violence based on perceived grievance. And so you can start to interpret every lie, every scam, every vulnerable community that is put in danger as a metaphor for America's carelessness in pursuit of its one goal, which is to not be humiliated, right? To have an American dream and to push for the American...
I could get behind that.
So now he's not just villainous, bad person, bad guy, but oh my God, he has a dream, you guys. It's like the dream poisons him, like, because it really does.
But see, I could buy that if he grew in. The problem is with that, we meet him already in the middle of the ping pongness. It wasn't like he discovered ping pong and then this became a passion. If they had done that, I would honestly hate the movie less. Like, if this was a movie about Marty Supreme maybe being this arrogant asshole who maybe has, like, because he's an insecure man. Like, he is not, this is a man with, like, he's insecure in himself. That's why he behaves that way.
Yeah.
If it was him as he is, as we see him, and then he discovers ping pong and he uses ping pong as a way to, like, channel his ego, and then the rest of the film happens, I would actually be down with that. I could get behind it.
Like the runway of it would make more.
It would make more sense. But the problem is, we meet him and he's already like going to the championship. Like, we didn't see him build to this. And then another point that I had, that I was like, how did he train? When was he training to beat the world champion in Tokyo when he's scamming all of New York? Like, at what point?
He wasn't. And that is exact. Like,
and I'm like, what do we tell? So he just, like, again, he doesn't like deserve or earn anything that he gets by the end of the movie. So it's like, I genuinely don't understand.
His win in Tokyo is not meant to be a hero's journey. It is meant to replicate the politics of post Hiroshima. It's meant to be like, you did nothing. You pushed for nothing. You got that. You built into this, and you reside over this Pyrrhic victory. And
a victory, like, the whole match was supposed to be propaganda for them anyway. Like, it wasn't even a legit match. And so it's like, you win this thing, a participation trophy, more or less.
Right. And it's in pursuit of his own image to himself of being superior at the cost. Like, the fact that he couldn't even notice how important this player was to just even the Japanese people in the room. Yeah. He didn't really, like, in that moment, for him to just be humble and go, this is how I'm getting out of my issue. Hopefully I'll sort myself out and I'll be at the one thing I will say is the fact that he was never put in, like, to me, what I thought the story was going to do is he was going to go to Japan, he was going to do this humiliation ritual, he was going to lose to this guy, and then he'd end up winning at the championships. Like, that's what I kind of saw as being the progression. But when they locked him out of the championships, at that point, it's like kind of the metaphor starts to slowly a little bit break down, because it's almost like saying, well, America has all of these undue slights against it and people are stopping them from doing stuff. But then if you even think further, it's like, what did he think was going to fucking happen?
That's what I'm saying. What did he think was going to happen? Before he even gets to Tokyo, the league or whatever literally fined him for, I did the math. It was like over $24,000, that bill. I was doing, because they were doing a lot of money, so I converted every dollar amount that they did in the movie in 1952 to now. The money this man was scheming.
Oh my
girl.
Gosh.
So literally, the first dollar amount was $100. He's going to give $100 to the guy at the store to, like, give him whatever he's owed. $100 today is a little over $1,200, which is like a month's paycheck. So it's like, okay, I get that. That's fair. Right. Then the next amount, oh my God, where's the money? The next amount that I remember writing down was the bill. No, the next amount was when they were hustling them at that ping pong parlor, him and Tyler the Creator. They hustled those people out of, like, at least $2,000, because they were counting, when they were counting, it was like, he said over $200, which was a little over $2,000 in today's money. And then
they blew them up.
And then the bill that he got before they hustled him, I think, right? When the bathtub falls.
Oh, yep.
The bill that Tyler's like, hey, you have a bill for $1,500. That's over $24,000 in 2026.
Jeez.
So he's not like
No.
just scamming like little bits of money. It sounds like that because it's like we're not converting in our mind instantly.
Yeah.
I did the conversion. He was scamming people out of a lot of fucking money.
Jeez. Like, and the it's the escalation of it, and I think, I don't know, maybe I'm so tapped into politics that I'm seeing politics everywhere, and I'm passing riddles, but like specifically the moment I realized it was a metaphor, and it was late in the day. I should have clocked it when I realized that the guy that beat him was Japanese. I should have clocked it then, because it's the 50s. It's just after they nuked Japan, right?
And they talked about the travel ban in the early, like, twice. They're like, how'd they get around the travel ban? How'd they get around the travel ban?
I'll explain in a second when I realized the whole film was a joke and like not meant to be serious. But definitely the moment I realized that this was a political metaphor, or maybe it was the second time I thought. Anyway, one big moment where I was like, what's going on here, was the random blow up he has about his barracks in London. So he's in London.
That to me was very character. That made sense. That to me made a whole lot of sense. That was giving entitled, because the whole time he thinks that he is owed this greatness. Like, he has convinced himself that he is the guy with no real evidence whatsoever.
The issue, Amaris, the issue I had was not with his blow up. It was who he was blowing up to. I was like, why did they cast an Indian Brit as the head of the chess?
I literally have a note. Every person of color is like of service to him in some way. They're even the nurse that gives him his baby is a black woman. The only black woman we see is a nurse. And baby is giving mammy. It's giving mammy. Like there's 3 people of color in the entire movie.
And I also, do you not feel, okay, tangent, they barely used Tyler, the Creator, and he hands down is giving the best performance in the film.
I was actually very surprised by his performance.
Outsizedly, like, he is really on the roller coaster of the thing.
Whereas I felt like
really have the same note.
I remember people were complaining about his character, and the first time I watched it, I only saw him a little bit. I didn't even get to the ping pong hustling. Now that I've finished the movie, I really don't like his character. I should take that back. I think casting his character as a black man is an issue for me.
Yes, because
it's giving just that old stereotype of like black guy here to help, and like like the fact that you fuck up this man's way of making his money and fucking up his cab. Yeah. And he says repeatedly, I have kids, I have responsibilities, and you fucking don't. First of all, I literally made a note. I said, Marty Supreme is the white kid that every black parent warns their child about. Every black parent has said, you can't do what your white friends do because they're going to get you into some shit.
Yep.
And Marty is that guy for Tyler, the Creator. And the fact that Tyler, the Creator's character, when he sees him again, because remember, he says, close my door, Marty. I don't want to see you. As if it's like, you fucked up my shit. I'm mad at you. The next time he sees him, hey, Marty, what's up? Hey.
You're so right. It does not make any logical, and to me, it's that thing of, I can feel the moment the white men writing the script were like, what if we did something where it's like a white guy and a black guy playing into racial tensions, but they're actually in on it? And it's like,
it's like a weird thing. So I'm like, I know it's New York City, but it's still 1952. And Tyler's the only black guy in that area, in that room. And I'm like, it's not really, we don't, like, there's, the N-word is said one time. But I just feel like the racial dynamics of Tyler, the Creator, interacting in the world that is Marty Supreme does not feel, it feels like another layer of, like, gaslighting about, like, who Marty is, and, like, how, like, it's just like Marty is given all this grace, and again, it's giving millennial propaganda of, like, for white men. It's Tyler's role in that as a black man, and it just doesn't feel right to me. I don't like it.
It's an incomplete. It's an incomplete part of the puzzle, because if it were complete, I think we would have seen his family, or we would have seen active repercussions for what he did, instead of the character, like, show don't tell, right? The character has to say, you've messed up my stuff, but we don't ever see any actual relevant consequences. Like, it should have, if you really wanted to do it correctly, but of course you can't, because this is one long, like you said, millennial man, like, I'm so woke, me and my one black friend in Brooklyn type shit, is like, if they'd done it properly, the moment he saw Marty across the bar, which again, I was expecting the same thing.
There should have been tension.
Worse than that, he should have beat his ass.
Something, anything.
Like, it should have been on sight to me.
And if you, I would have even forgiven if it was just like tense eyes across the room and him going back to his own game. That would have been better than a friendly, where are you going, Marty? Hey, you said twice you got kids and responsibilities, that this man fucked up your situation. What are we talking about?
That is true. But it's like, to the story, the consequences of Marty's actions are never actually fully reckoned with. And that, I think, is if my metaphor theory is in any way applicable, that would be where I feel that it slightly breaks down. And that's where I think that the conclusion they're making about America is different from the conclusion I'm making. So I take all of these unlikable things about Marty and I go, yeah, America fucking sucks. They will pry, like, I don't think it's a mistake that Enzo is deaf. I don't think it's a mistake.
I forget about it. And you know what? That whole, I hated. I don't know, there was something about the Japanese black and white footage that it felt, I don't know what.
Orientalist? Did it feel Orientalist?
Yes.
Did it feel othering? Yeah.
It felt gross. It felt everything about, and that's why I'm like, I struggle with fully buying into the metaphor of it all. Because one element, I was thinking about this when I was getting ready, I was like, the choice to do 80s music, I think, to go with America and the metaphor, 80s music, and the song specifically, were giving me Wall Street 80s yuppie culture. When we talk about the money, and it was giving that. This is how my brain works. Walk with me. I was thinking about Wolf of Wall Street and Leonardo DiCaprio and Jordan Belfort. Yes, he's a real person, but the difference between Jordan and Marty, they both have the same insane ego. Jordan knows it. And we see him know it, and we see him talk about it to camera. There's satirical elements. It's funny. There's jokes. Like, we know Jordan sucks. Jordan knows Jordan sucks. Everyone that is in Wolf of Wall Street and this yuppie, greedy, lying, scamming culture of Wolf, they know.
Yeah.
They know. And we know, and that's part of why we're having fun. And Marty Supreme, he is so oblivious and genuinely believes that people owe him, and no one, the closest we get is Mr. Wonderful, who ended up buying his weird plea in the first place and is why he's in Japan. And he's the only one that makes a shitty attempt of being like, hey, you're an asshole. And even then he's like, I'm going to win. And then he still wins. So that's why I'm like, Marty Supreme for me does not work, because there's no realization from Marty, from the creators, that like he is aware that he sucks. It's just like, we're all pretending like he's not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know what the point of this movie was. I don't understand, other than like, you know, a white dude circle jerk. This is the millennial F1. It's really irritating. Because like I said, like with Wolf of Wall Street, everyone is in on it. Marty Supreme, he is trying to convince us and everyone in his own world that he is a good person, or that he at least deserves what he thinks he does, when we haven't seen, and it seems like the characters in the movie have not seen him work for anything or improve on his character. Like, even the one person that clocks his tea is Gwyneth Paltrow, and I'm irritated again. You have me rooting for Gwyneth Paltrow.
Like how could you do this to me? I completely agree. There are a couple of other. I mean, his uncle clocks him. His mother clocks him. Gwyneth Paltrow clocks him.
Well, this is the thing. I don't know about the mother. Okay. I think the mother is a covert narcissist. But I don't care that she is, because he sucks.
Yeah. Well, yes, precisely. It's like
your mom is crazy and she's manipulative and insane. But I really don't care, because you're awful. Yeah.
Two terrible bitches telling each other they're terrible. Yes. No. 100%. 100%. It's interesting though that it's the older characters in the narrative that all, and so this is where I clock into the vampire of it all. Because Mans gets Timmy by the neck and goes, listen, if you don't stop the cycle today, it will repeat tomorrow. And this bitch goes, I don't care. And to me, that was like that one. I mean, this is the generation that would have been fighting World War II.
Yeah.
Telling the next generation that are about to
he is a boomer.
Right.
Okay. With that context, it's actually worse.
Yes,
it's actually worse. It's getting worse. Yeah. When you consider, yeah. Oh fuck. Oh no.
No, I'm telling you this. I think they've stumbled into, maybe hubristically, maybe they are unironically analyzing themselves and showing themselves to be these people, but literally it's a perfect metaphor for complete and utter lack of clarity and arrogance.
Yeah.
And if you think about this generation being the World War II generation going, you're about to repeat the cycle, him going, fuck it, we ball. And then, like, the fact that it's all set to 80s music a la kind of 80s Wall Street.
Yeah, the yuppies of it all.
Right? It to me...
And that's when boomers were, like, in their prime. Oh, we're cooking. This is what I'm
saying.
We're cooking.
We're getting to a point. The intention, I don't think it was the intention, but what ends up happening is, I think the reason so many of the minorities in Marty Supreme are that, like, almost everyone around him is a vulnerable person.
Everyone.
Whether it's Gwyneth Paltrow I need to talk about the 1930s actress aspect of it all. Don't let me forget. But whether it's Gwyneth Paltrow's character, which, again, how dare you make me root for her. And then, like, specifically, I want to talk about how white women become complicit in these cycles of hyper-ambition and scamming. Because Odessa Azion's character...
The way she just became an actress, girl... I was like, what are we? She said, oh my God, what are we going to do? That was good, right? Bitch, what the fuck? And then we find out that, like, the reason why, because you feel bad for her is like, girl, now you're lying for this man just to find out you lied to get in the situation because he never beat you. So what are we talking about?
Her thing is Marty to her is ping pong to Marty. Yeah. Her mission is to have him, to trap him. And her mission was complete when she had this kid. Like, she has locked him to her.
See, this is the thing. Dare I say, her character and Gwyneth Paltrow's character are the same but different. They're both in marriages they don't want to be in.
Yes.
And they're both using Marty for sex. Dead ass. That's literally what it is. That's Gwyneth, like, just straight up. What's her name? The character's name?
Rachel?
Rachel is doing it in a more, like,
love that we didn't remember.
Like, I don't think that she trapped him, but I do think she got pregnant and was like, oh, thank God. I think she saw it as a way out. Why would you think Marty was your way? Like, why do you think that is a better situation? Like, she's not beating you, but also verbally abusive.
Do you know why my analysis of Rachel is that the plan all along was to end up with Marty? He is constantly saying, you've been trying to do this to me this whole time. Like, they act like, I don't think it was unintentional that they pretended to be brother and sister. I think there is that sense of, like, they grew up together, they are kind of brother and sister, and she is intent, and it's like almost the kind of white incest thing, but a whole other conversation for another time. She wants him and he wants glory, and that is the American white nuclear family. Like, that's the American dream. The man goes off and does insane American things and absolutely freaking clubbers the Japanese.
And it's crazy because that dynamic, you saying it like that dynamic is just like any couple that was like high school sweethearts in the South. Like, they become a cop and she's a mom and a teacher, or a mom and a nurse. Like, that dynamic. I went to high school with people with that. Like, that is a very specifically Southern, which is funny because they're from New York. But, like, the dynamic of the man that's like America and doing, like, I don't know, military or the pride of it all.
Right.
It's very nuclear Southern specific family. Very true.
Yeah, it is, and I think it was even more prevalent outside of this. Well, I don't know, but like in the 50s,
oh, absolutely,
that was very much like the traditional structure.
It's just that the South has kept that shit. See, now I'm curious because we're talking about how, like, Marty is technically like a boomer. How old is Safdie?
He's a millennial.
Is he like a
Early
40
40s.
millennial? Like
Early
a
40s,
1980s
yeah.
baby? Okay.
Yep. I
Because
think so.
I've like 80s millennials are not the same as 90s millennials. I don't
They
know.
are not.
There's something, it's the lead poisoning, I think. I don't know.
It's boomeresque.
It's very, 80s millennials are very boomer, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I do. I see it. It's I think also, even if it wasn't intentional, there is a mournful sense that like the American dream is a scam insofar like the film insofar as it keeps trying to humble Marty.
But it never
Is
does,
kind of
and
going
that's why I'm irritated. Like there is something to be said about like white men really, because he never faces any consequence. Like everybody else, she is shot. Rachel gets shot.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow, we don't even know what the fuck happens to her and her husband's situation.
No.
We don't really know what happens to Tyler, the Creator's character. We just know that his cab got fucked up. We don't know the financial implications of that. Like everybody else, presumably, has very real consequences for the shit that Marty dragged them into. And Marty, there's none.
But knowing what we know about white millennial men, specifically 80s millennial men, is ending up being a father and having a kid, not some sort.
I think you're right. I think that you're right. And dare I say, am I gonna controversial?
Do it.
80s millennial, right? Chris Evans recently. Come on. Let me talk about it for a second. What Chris Evans, like on record for a good decade in the Marvel days, I want to be a dad, I want to be a dad, I want to be a dad. Pops out with a 20-something-year-old wife at 40. Then has a baby. The baby's months old. We find out he's in Boston at bars, allegedly.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Everything allegedly.
Everything allegedly. But allegedly, this man had a baby. In less than 6 months, he's at the bars in Boston, chatting up girls. So, like, you're right, and I hate that you are, but it's very much a thing that, like, 80s millennial men, after being pieces, because Chris Evans I've heard, allegedly, the reputation, like, it's giving frat boy, and it always kind of did.
Oh, listen, back in the day, the blind gossip stuff that was coming out of, I remember, because that was my stand. I mean, I don't know if you were there. Were you there?
Not really on the Chris Evans stuff. I'm new to him. I started loving him, and then he popped out with a wife.
Oh!
Right. Imagine my horror.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Right.
the back in the day. Oh, and I don't listen. We might have to cut this bit out of the podcast. But back in the day, it wasn't just frat boy. It was frat boy with a very specific preference in women. If he had a thing for any ethnicity that prided themselves on having a little junk in the trunk. Like he had a thing.
And that's why like, okay, this is the thing. I have to shut up about Chris Evans and celebrity gossip. But like the wife, it's shocking to me. Like,
no, it is. And it's meant to be.
It's like, it just feels it. We talk a lot about, this is so separate, but it's also related to Marty as a character. Because it's like, we talk a lot about men settling when they're ready to settle with whoever is there. And no disrespect to the wife.
Listen,
to bring it back to Marty Supreme, he literally yelled at that girl in that lobby, wherever the fuck they were, telling her, we'll find a women's home for you to give birth at. And then you drag her to get shot, and then you leave her in the hospital, and then you come back at her bedside, kissing her hand, kissing her forehead, and say, okay, I'm gonna be a father now.
Because there's nothing else. But also, this is why I finished the film and I was like, I've got to make a TikTok, because he starts crying. And I think anybody who's not paying attention would think that crying is like, oh my God, my baby, I'm so happy. He's mourning.
You think he's mourning?
He will never get, like, he realizes he has this fine. The people at the ping pong thing pretty much hate him. So he's not, that is over. The dream is over. Or at least he doesn't believe that it can continue at that point. And he now has a mouth to feed. He has a kid to look after. And so this is and again, if we're talking about this as a boomer to millennial men metaphor, this is the ultimate punishment. Having to be responsible. Having to be a dad and having to answer to society for how you're looking after that kid. Yeah. Like the number of guys in that generation who mourn the fact that they had to be a dad instead of still working as an audio engineer at some studio for no money for the next 40 years. Like the implication of the kid is that you have to go get a real grown-up job. And they've been telling him that whole movie, go get a real grown-up job. This ping pong thing isn't going to work out. And
I think my issue though is that like I agree. I get that. My issue though is that's not maybe it's the music cue at the end. Like they didn't show that, because I can see that, like, oh yeah, that makes sense, like, especially because we had that conversation with Tyler. I have real responsibilities and you don't, and by the end of that's about the halfway point, and by the end of the movie he literally has responsibilities, but he fully was going to abandon that girl because he effectively did, and then we don't see him make the choice to not do that. Like, we never see him change his mind.
I think that we don't see him change his mind, but like that was the one thing that threw me for a loop, because if you go and you get that freaking Pyrrhic victory over the deaf Japanese man, which, like, clock it.
What are we talking about?
Right? Like, it's like, okay. So already you are very clearly the villain of everyone's story except your own, Marty. But then you come back and you kiss her hand. And to me, that was the sign that he'd changed. But it didn't make sense why he'd changed. And then he starts crying and I go, oh, there's the Marty that I recognize. It's like, who in between there and now?
Scene again. And you know what? It also reminded me, because the very first Timothée Chalamet movie I ever saw was Call Me By Your Name.
Wait.
And you know the end where he's looking, and that's why you're saying that the vibe of the crying in front of the fireplace is very different than him crying at the baby window.
It's mournful. To me, what I read was mournful. It was like for me, it ended a bit like a horror film. It was like, do you know the ending of Your Monster?
No.
Where she's technically hearing applause and she's smiling, but no one's clapping, and there's like a dead man on the stage.
No, but that also reminds me of The Substance ending a little bit, when she's on the stage after she's become the creature and people are in horror. Okay.
Oh god, can you imagine the first time I watched that, everyone started laughing at that ending.
Laughing.
I'm going,
what?
Like, there was, like, literally, I'm at this was at TIFF, I was at, like, a Midnight Madness, it was only, like, 10 p.m., and we're watching The Substance, and the whole thing to a bunch of people was a comedy, and, like, there were comedic elements, don't get me wrong, I'm not a freaking sourpuss, I'm not a freaking, woke scold or whatever, but this film was very clearly a horror film about the existence of feminine improvement.
And aging and all of it.
Right, it was clearly, like, psychological horror, right? And the number of people, anytime she mutilated herself, that started laughing drives me, like, no, I'm serious.
Disturbing.
And they laughed when she, like, there was one moment that was very clearly a metaphor for eating disorders and anorexia, and the amount of them that started laughing.
Where she, like, tears up the kitchen and there's, like, food and shit everywhere. Yes.
And then there was another, exactly that moment. And then there was another moment later on where she's in the hallway and the guy tells her to smile and she has, like, the teeth so she can't.
Yes.
And to me, those
were like my favorite. Those were like the most like moments. Oh my god.
And there were people, and I leave that. I mean, we can go into this, but I leave that theater and everyone's. I don't know, I didn't really get it. I don't know, it was kind of funny, it was kind of weird, it was a bit too much. Did you not feel like it was a bit too much? I'm at Toronto International Film Festival and the bitches don't understand The Substance. The way
that that would send me into the mental hospital.
I crashed out.
Me into a padded room.
I crashed out. And the film wasn't out yet, so I couldn't crash out on TikTok. But I was crashing out. I was texting all my friends, I'm going, tell me that I'm not being a weird woke scold person right now.
That movie was very obvious. That's crazy.
I know. I feel better now, because at the time I was like, maybe I missed something, but no, it's the and in the same way, the end crying scene specifically to me read as mournful. It read like fuck. Like that's what because again, this is a film, and again, I don't know to which extent it was intentional, but throughout the film, America, the realities of America try to humble Marty, and Marty just tries to scam his way out of it. And it's in, out. And, like, everyone gets collateral damage except the young white boy.
When everybody else, which is commentary, everybody else is doing something in order for him to get ahead, for him to get what he wants. And everybody else they're the ones that end up with the shit end of the stick.
And this is why
But I feel less bad, ironically, for Rachel and Gwyneth Paltrow, because bitch, you went along with it willingly. Tyler the Creator, first of all, you lied to him, and he was like, I don't know why I feel more bad for Tyler the Creator than the two women. And people are calling me misogynistic for that. But like, no. First of all, Rachel, you put on makeup and which is a problem. And another movie did this, and I can't remember what it is. But when a movie uses white women and they use something like domestic violence or rape, I don't want to, you're making a joke of it, because the amount of men that are like, oh, she's lying. And then we have a character like Rachel who's literally lying about domestic violence.
And not to be too woke about it, which I will be, because fuck it, I'm always going to be the too woke. This is Josh Safdie, who currently has allegations that he let abuse go on his own set, right? This is the guy that let a guy expose himself in front of an underage girl, right? And then you want to make like, I always say this, I literally filmed a video about this today for TikTok. I was like, people, you can be like parasocial in a film and go, oh my God, I don't like these characters. Yeah. And then you can be someone that goes, it's just a film, I'm looking at a film, it's, people don't have to be good people. But I think there's a third level. If you step back enough that you can see the filmmaker, you become a hater again. Right. Because you chose to put this on screen. You spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on a camera for that day of shooting. Right. And you decided this was something you were going to shoot, and you took take after take after take. These are decisions. Right. These are decisions. And if your decision is to say the character who herself is basically scamming in pursuit of Marty is using domestic violence to manipulate
and pregnancy, like it's not just she lied about domestic violence. It's not like she's a little pregnant. She's 8 months pregnant. Yep. And that element, when we're talking about 2025 at the time the movie came out, in America where women don't have any rights. What are we talking about? And we know that women who are pregnant are at the highest risk of violence.
Yep. And you chose. This is the thing you chose.
And this is what we're gonna do over Marty Mauser, a scammer.
Yeah. And that's when it kind of, like, you're really convincing me of this as being, like, actually millennial men propaganda. Literally. Because that is kind of the frickin' fantasy of these men, is that a woman will genuinely scam in pursuit of them, like, ruin everything.
The first thing he says when we find out that Rachel is pregnant is, she's trapping me. When in the opening credits, we're watching the process happen. We're watching the process happen.
It's literally it's cut and dry. It's like, it happened.
It happened. Like, we saw it happen, and now, because and then also an element that's kind of separate. The fact that this man broke off a piece of the Egyptian pyramid to give to his mother. So we're just doing colonialism? What are we talking about?
Listen, I can't go too deep into this because it starts to inflame tensions that have to do with a certain situation in the Middle East that but I will just say there is if this, either it's the smartest thing anyone's ever done, or it is genuinely just revealing as okay, but this is my issue with Uncut Gems. Okay, so
I haven't seen Uncut Gems on purpose.
Okay, because Uncut Gems starts with what? You don't know this.
No.
But it starts with, and this is not a spoiler, a big gem, literally a gem. That's why it's called Uncut Gems. It's literally an uncut gem, right? Mm-hmm. Coming out of a mine in Africa.
Done. Automatically. I'm turning it off already.
They've done this before. The Safdies have done this to me before.
I hate everything about this movie.
You motherfuckers are about to explain away. And if I get too deep into it, I think genuinely, I can critique America all I want, but there's a whole other situation that I can't get too much into, and I'll get sniped. But basically, there is a tie between, because I don't know if you know the significance of why he chipped that bit of rock off, but there is a fundamental...
For me, I was like, pyramid, mummies, y'all bitches were eating mummies. Like, it was giving, that's where my mind went. I'm like, why are we doing this?
And this is where we're going to head into discussions on Jewish identity here in a second, even though neither of us are Jewish, but
I felt the reason why I walked out the first time is because I was like, this is anti-Semitic. And then we had a straight up anti-Semitism. It is! And then we had the black guy saying the anti-Semitism thing. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
There is a belief in the Jewish faith, but it's kind of tied to Zionism.
Surprise.
the Jewish people built the pyramids.
Okay.
And it's part of kind of the Bible.
Which is
and
what the
part of
mom
so
said. No, he said we built this, or we built that.
Yes, right. That is not historically based in fact. And so it's almost that thing, and I don't want to, God, you could do a whole...
Well, I'm curious because now you're making, because I remember right before we see that scene, we see a group of black people, and I'm like, is Egypt that dark? But like, I'm like, Egyptians aren't my complexion. Every Egyptian I've ever met is much lighter than me. And there was a bunch of dark-skinned people in front of that pyramid. I'm like, that's not usually, when we're seeing imagery of the Egyptians, of the Egyptian pyramid, we don't see people our complexion or darker. And I felt like that was a very interesting, intentional choice.
Everyone in Egypt prior to very recently was our color.
So that makes it worse. It makes it worse.
It does make it worse.
The shot opens, it starts with the guy taking the picture in front of the pyramid, and then we push in around them, behind them, to see them do that shit. Gross.
Yes.
Gross, and I don't like it.
Literally, up until very recently, like, if my best Egyptian friends, also brown people. I'm Sudanese. I'm from, like, literally the Nubian people.
Yeah.
We were the people that built the pyramids.
Yeah.
Like, of all faiths, of all groups, no one that both the people building the pyramids and the people who asked for the pyramids to be built were all black people. Like, that is this undisputed history. So there's this rewriting of history mythically by certain countries in that area that like to go back and revise history. And one of the things they do is they do that. And it's a long story. A lot
Where
of history.
does the Safdies stand on that? Do we know if they've signed
but then this is where I start to ask questions.
Okay.
Because one of the reasons I fucking hated Uncut Gems is it was very heavily in support, or at the very least complicit within, because the gem, from the African mine, I believe makes its way to New York via Israel, because it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I think there's like a metaphor there to do with how Jews of color are treated versus white Jews in the West, and there's so much there. But and honestly, I should probably get a black Jewish creator on to chat about it. But specifically in regards to Marty Supreme and that moment, I got very pissed off because it is just purely like that moment just happens.
Yeah.
And I thought,
and it doesn't add anything. It's irrelevant to any, like, we see him touring and then we see that. Why?
There's nothing. There's no that because I think
just for them to give the piece of it to his mother and do anti-Semitic, like, what are we talking about?
For a certain group of people, that was a moment of endearment. He hates his mum, but he still brought her back a piece of the pyramids because
really? Because to me it was like, shut up, mom. Like, it didn't, like, I don't believe Marty gives a fuck about anybody in his life other than himself. I don't believe that. There's never a moment in the movie where maybe at the end where he kisses Rachel's forehead in the hospital bed, there's a little bit of remorse, but like the rest of this movie's also 2.5 hours long, and I cannot believe that.
We ban it. 19-minute movies only from now on.
I'm telling you, I'm so sick of it. I don't want it anymore. And the fact that we went literally 2 hours and 15 minutes of this man not giving a fuck about anybody. Until the very last moment. What are we doing? And then it was a crazy cut that I literally took a note about. That was so funny. When he does call the hospital after he wins, and is like, I need to see Rachel. Like, I'm trying to get to the maternity ward or whatever. He, like, while that phone call is still happening and he's trying to figure it out, we see him on the plane with a bunch of American soldiers in like wartime uniforms, which I think is a very strange choice because we're in 1952. But okay, well, we're also in the middle of Korea. Korean War is happening. So that's odd.
He was in a city in Japan where Americans were stationed. Americans have been stationed there since the war. There are American bases in Japan. Okinawa as a city is an American base, right? So he hitched a ride with the U.S. military back home. Like, that's what I'm saying.
It's so irritating. But the first thing when he gets off the plane, because we hear that conversation on the phone, and then that next cut is him walking, and it's a little girl screaming, "Daddy!" And then he's in the hospital. I was like, is he going to be a father now? And then he is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But that goes back to the point that we were saying about like men and Chris Evans, like, you know, just deciding to get a family. It's like and it's very interesting that he has this moment of realization on a plane full of military men. And like military men specifically in this country, like girls know you don't get involved with a military man because they will trap you with a pregnancy. Like it is a thing. It is a thing. They are abusive and they will trap you with a pregnancy. That's literally a thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's a meme at this point. Like, don't date military men. So the fact that he's on this plane with a bunch of military men in uniform, coming back from Korea, which is because that war specifically in the American consciousness is very different than like World War II. It's like, it has this, because the 52 specifically, that was the beginning of the white picket fence era. That was the beginning of people moving to the suburbs. And there's so many things about this movie that are like gross to me. But the fact that the period that we're in, the fact that he's going over to Asia and doing all this fucking shit, the family element of it all of it just makes me feel like, what do you think you're saying?
Right.
What do you think you're saying? Because what I'm hearing is American propaganda and I also think Gen Z, because a lot of Gen Z, they're like in their mid-20s. And we know that like Gen Z men specifically, like Gen Z is the most conservative generation in this country and since Reagan.
Wow.
So it's like the way that this like Gen Z men and millennial men, hearing their reactions. I worked at a theater. Hearing the way white men would talk about this movie, I'm like, the propaganda is working.
Oh,
because
no!
Men in this country, we know like the Andrew Tate of it all, but it's really bad. Like it's really bad, and they really genuinely see themselves in Marty, and that's why I have an issue with this movie. Because while we're able to see the problems with him, they literally can't. They're not seeing it. And they're not seeing it because Marty never sees it. And no one ever tries to tell him. And the one man that tries to tell him got him there in the first place to let him do the bullshit that he did.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's like, yeah. And what's worse is everyone around him that gets harmed by him
can't defend themselves because they're vulnerable communities.
Right. And also, some of them make the choice. Right? Rachel makes the choice. Like, what's her name? Missy Moo, did not have to go get the second necklace.
Why did you get the second necklace?
Why did you get the second one?
The first one, bad enough, bitch. A second necklace?
At that point,
after, it's not like he lost it or broke it. You had to give it to the cop to bribe them so they wouldn't tell the world, so you wouldn't get exposed for cheating on your billionaire husband. In the public park. You were getting ate out in the public park. And then you had to give the cops your anniversary necklace to get out of it. And I'm supposed to feel bad. Shut up.
And you want to go get a second one for this boy. It doesn't occur to you to just go, actually, you know what?
Is commentary. There's commentary there because I have weird feelings about the age difference between the two of them. We don't really, we know that she's older because but also it's 1952. And there's conversations about her, like, her career. Like, in that time, she's probably no older than, like, 35. Realistically. Like, she's probably not that old, but, like, the starlet era in the 52, when you were 35, you were an old hag back in the day. Yeah. So, at best, Marty is what? 22, 23?
Yeah.
Like, he's a young, and which goes back to my issue that this is both millennial propaganda, but also Gen Z propaganda. And it worked. And it's scary to me because the dynamics of Marty and the way he treats Rachel and that whole relationship, like I said, is so reminiscent of so many relationships I've seen between Gen Z people now and millennial people. And the dating, like the way that we date now looks like that.
I mean, and if we want to get a little bit like into it, it is somewhat what I'm seeing in, or what I'm being served of Timothy's personal life. Like Mr. Moo talking about, I just feel like anyone that doesn't have kids, kind of stupid, like kind of missing out on the point of life, actually. Like the point of life is kids, actually. Yeah. And me and my partner who has kids from another relationship, we actually have it all figured out. And actually, you broke hoes could never. It's like, It's
really strange to me how he, like, I can't, like I said, I thought this press tour was a bit. Turns out it wasn't. That's just
It was
who he
very
is.
much not.
And I'm like, I have this weird thing with him because I'm like, okay, if this is who you are now, why are you nominated for Best Actor when this is just your personality? You just suck like
You
this.
didn't act.
Michael B. Jordan, he changed the placement of his. He was
I could
fixing
never.
his face to look
Like,
different because he was two different people. And
to
the way
this
that the last
day.
time I watched Sinners, I said he looks different. I know he looks different. I said it on live. I was like, he is not. How did he do that? And then one me said, yeah, he was wearing different shoes. Like he made himself have dimples. Like
Made himself dimples.
he changed the way his face looked to play two different roles. He wore two different types of shoes based on which twin he was playing. He's an actor. And there's a conversation about method acting in Michael B. Jordan versus somebody like Christian Bale or even Timothée Chalamet. Because you can say that that's method, but he wasn't harassing his castmate.
No.
To do it.
And I think the line between method as a practice and method as an excuse is a clear one. Like method as an excuse is an antisocial excuse versus method as an actual method is very different. And actually, I can get into this because I'm a big acting theory guy.
Same.
Getting into the Stanislavski and the Uta Hagen and the
Oh,
Stella
Uda,
Adler.
we love Uda.
We could really get into it.
Yeah.
So I won't go into it, but like there's a difference between approach versus excuse.
Right.
And the Jared Leto of it all is an excuse. He's using it as an excuse to act out. To this day, my For You page is so anti-black. The way it will keep sending me, Michael B. Jordan is not actually that great. Like actual black people saying Michael B. Jordan is actually not that great.
Like it's actually like it makes my eye twitch. Like what are we talking about? Like what are we
this is
saying?
not up for debate. Like we can't sit like this is not up for debate. Michael B. Jordan is just kind of flat to me. Huh?
What are we saying?
Huh?
Just talking to talk.
Like
Just talking to talk.
Literally talking to talk. Because to what, like, you know what they are mistaking for flatness is just simply immersion. They become so immersed in Michael B. Jordan performances. They are so natural. They are so well placed. He always knows the tone of the thing he's in.
And you know what? I recorded a video. I did not post it, but I was like, there's something about the makeup test footage from Sinners that is like hitting me with in my heart. It makes me emotional. And I realized it's because just watching them without the set design behind a blank screen, those are real people. Those are real characters that I love. And watching, like, there's a video of Wumney and Michael as Stack, and they're just going back and forth like brother, sister. And I'm like, oh, like it literally, my heart, I'm like, those are my cousins. Those are my ancestors. Like those are my people.
Yeah.
And we can talk about Sinners another time, but like,
it's real.
They feel very real, very rooted. Roy as Delta, they feel like real, tangible people who I know what happens to them at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
The fact that Timothée Chalamet is doing Marty Supreme on camera in front of Matthew McConaughey, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Like this, it's like. And that, I think, is the central issue I've been having with Marty Supreme on the awards circuit. It shouldn't be that, like, to the extent to which
I really cut you off. I'm so sorry, but that's why I suffer or I struggle with the metaphor of it all. Because if they really meant for this movie to be a metaphor, then he would take this press tour seriously, and he wouldn't be Marty Supreme on camera promoting the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like if he was talking about Marty in the way we are, it's like then I could buy it that it's a metaphor and it didn't land. But because he is talking about the movie and himself in the way that it's just Marty Supreme, I'm like, you dead ass believe what's happening in this movie.
The thing is that the only reason that I didn't perceive it that way in terms of his press tour is the press tour is itself a separate performance, right? And from Blimp onwards, I think he's been very publicly He has explained publicly that what he's doing is a hype campaign, not an Academy run. And that's what, once he did the blimp and the whole video about we're going to do Marty Supreme, and it's literally going to be like a literal Supreme drop, like the brand Supreme.
Well, which is why I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a whole, because I feel like actors have done that before where they kind of like play up a bit for the promotion and stuff. But
I think
it just does not feel like he is, because again, it stopped being a bit for me with the ballet moment. I don't want to be a part of the ballet. That's when I realized, oh, he's dead ass.
You don't think he's baiting?
Huh?
You don't think he's baiting?
No, I think he's dead ass. Because this is why, first of all, the irony that he is shitting on the ballet and the opera when he's fucking a theater actress in the movie, and it's okay, like the irony of that moment. Are we kidding?
Like the fact that he can't even, because he would never say that about theater, because he is theater. He's theater kid. But
also, I'm like, you're not a singer. You're not an opera singer. You don't dance. Why are we shitting on both of those things? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
My context was that he's trying to execute a bit, but he's not smart. Okay, this is me. He is trying to execute a bit, but he's not smart enough to do it properly. Like
does he think that when this is over and he loses that award on Sunday, and he will lose, he better, or else
he will. He will.
When he loses on Sunday, does he think that he can just go back to normal and keep making movies? And the thing is,
I think
he doesn't realize that he is ruining his career. Like, people are annoyed. We're already done with him because we have Timothy fatigue, because he's in everything all the time. With his weird attitude, bro, no one wants to see you in anything ever again.
The same person who has led Sydney Sweeney astray is talking in Timothy's ear, I swear to God. Because these girls are being
Timothy at least can act, okay?
Yes. I will always give him that. He has talent.
He's talented.
He has talent.
Why I'm frustrated with him, because I know he is talented. So I'm like, what are you doing?
And also, you think you're going to run for gold on this performance? Like, let's all be real. This is not actually an Oscar, but anyway, you know why he thinks so? Because he put on a couple of fake acne scars. He thinks he did a transformation.
The way I was like, they put makeup on his skin to make him look like he has, what the fuck is this? I was like, I know they did not make him up to look like he has acne. What the fuck?
Literally in the interviews, they said he looked too pretty. We needed to rough him up a bit. He needed to feel like
I think what's ironic of that is I really think I would have liked him as a character more if he was just pretty. Like, I feel like I would have been able to buy into the arrogance if he was this pretty boy in the 1950s.
Yes.
And like, I honestly would hate it so much less if they leaned into his pretty. Rather than trying to make him, because by doing that and making him ugly, you're doing propaganda for Gen Z and millennials.
I agree. I do agree. It's such a bloody good point. I had not considered the extent to which people are taking this seriously. And I think about that a lot with films specifically like this, where people just take it at face value.
The way men are talking about Marty as a character and how relatable he is, and you don't get it. Dead ass. My coworkers, but all men, younger than me, like in their 20s, that's how I know this movie's a problem. The oldest person I worked with was like 23 or 24. No. The way that these men were talking about Marty Supreme is concerning. It's like, we talk a lot about the damage that Andrew Tate did and like the red pill of it all, but just like white supremacy in this country, how they went from hoods to suits in the White House, the red pill has went from Andrew Tate to Timothy Chalamet and Marty Supreme. And it's this subtle, polished type of misogyny that's happening now that feels more socially acceptable, or like it's landing easier, or they think it is.
There's one, the clavicular of it all made me realize that there is a level to it where they are kind of turning it into like philosophy. Like, I know that was already happening with Jordan Peterson, but it's like, these are the, Aristotelian truths of the world. Exactly. Women are just X, Y, and it's like almost logical. And that's the Timothy Chalamet thing. That's the insidious part of it, is everything that he does that's like flippant. He talks about it from a position of utter fact and like almost logic. Like it's like beyond. It's
because I feel like we had a period in culture with like the hipster, and then it was the performative man with a tote bag, Jacob Elordi. but
Woof.
it's
Listen,
evolving.
and the girls are trying to do to Jacob Elordi what they're currently doing to Timothy. They're trying to build him into some kind of intellectual so that they can
Well,
then
girl,
take him
they've
down.
been doing that with him. I've been clocking it. I've been saying, what are we talking about?
It's not gonna work. It's not
It's
gonna
not,
work.
like it's
But maybe
never
the same thing.
worked. It's never worked with him, and I'm like, can we stop
Yeah.
gaslighting me about that man?
Just let these boys act. Why do they need to speak? And I find it so annoying. Like they don't. A lot of them don't. Have
And the ones
right.
that do speak, not to my man Tyreek, every time he speaks, when he's not goofing around, it's something like normal and real, and like the way he talks about like men and emotions and grief specifically, like it's very rooted, it's very real, it's very grounded.
Right.
It's like listening to him talk versus fucking Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. We have to stop gassing up people who don't have the range, because the current Vim Timothy has, this is what upsets me. The current Vim Timothy has is Vim we have been giving him since Call Me By Your Name, as if he is the person who wrote the book. Like, you know.
And that's why I'm like, I've noticed, because Call Me By Your Name was what, 2015? No,
I want to say 2017.
Something. It was late 2010s, because I feel like 2017. That's it. Okay, because I think maybe he was able to get away with it up until recently. Because I've noticed like people are watching movies for director, production company. No, like it's not a Timothy like, and I think that's why his aura is wiping off, because he's just the actor, and people are realizing he's the actor, and the writers and the directors and the producers, that's who is making the movie. All respect to actors, I'm an actor, but like it's not the same. I think in the Call Me By Your Name era, people were acting as if he made the movie.
Right? No, exactly.
He's not, and like I did not like that movie. Full transparency, I fucking hated it. Actually,
Call Me By Your Name.
I did not like it. Yeah, I didn't like it.
I agree. I have a massive
I didn't like it. I thought it was
against that
weird. I thought that there was like weird conversations that were being had that I didn't think were handled well.
And
so when that movie came out and everyone was, blowing smoke up his ass, I was like, his performance was fantastic, but I feel like he was instantly put on this pedestal that, like Marty Supreme, was not deserved.
I agree. I think also he is running on the fumes of, okay, here's another thing that's happening. He doesn't have a personality. I remember in the Call Me By Your Name era, they would try to get him to have a personality, and he was just like, I'm just happy to be here. And he had this long floppy hair, and he was White Boy of the Month, like whatever. What has happened is he is reverting back to the only personality he knows, which is New York black person.
Yes.
And his performance of that personality, number one, is so rankly offensive. Number two, is really bad. And then he's now dating Kylie Jenner. First white boy we've ever seen Kylie Jenner date. Let's talk about it.
You don't want me to get into it. You don't want me to get into it because I will get sued. Like the way that Kylie specifically is a problem for me. For the same reason that like this movie is like influencing Gen Z. Kylie for me, the black fishing of it all, to quiet mom, deflating lips and ass, and now we're having, and it's just like I don't, and the Billy, like they are perfect for each other in every way, and I think that professionally she is going to ruin his career, because I genuinely believe him being around all that money and the billionaire of it all has a huge, because I refuse to believe that he was always this arrogant. I refuse to believe that.
He very much wasn't. I think he is revealing a certain character that existed in him as a boy that grew up in New York around black people, right? That was hidden when he went legit art house with the long hair. But once you buzz cut that guy and he is older,
and has access to a billionaire.
Has access to billionaires, is older, not as cherubic anymore, not as twinky anymore. I think this is Timothy Chalamet's twink death. Because what is happening is he is trying to transition himself into Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's trying to do his Leo turn, his Matthew McConaughey turn, but the personality that would need to be exhibited is not there.
Exactly.
So he's going for the personality that's the New York boy, copying all of the interesting people around him.
Yeah.
And because he's doing a performance of that, immediately everyone's like, no. You are
Yeah.
dating Kylie Jenner, that was strike number one. And just who she is and how people feel about the Kardashians, that was strike number one. Number two, your personality underneath is not cute, calm, sweet, soft
Right.
boy. It's actually like New York, but also a performance of a black boy, right?
And I also had this weird thing because when they first got together, I was like, I don't think he is the deepest person, but like he's an actor. Like I feel like there's like, what do they talk about? Like, no offense to Kylie, all offense to Kylie. She does not strike me as someone who could hold a real conversation about anything.
And
But
that
then
is
he started
when-
talking, and I'm like, oh, you're
Well,
not as
listen.
smart as I thought you were.
I got 0.5 of a second ahead of that just because he picked Kylie. He picked Kylie and I go, birds of a feather flock together. So what is this telling me about you, sir?
See, I thought it was PR, but the longer it went on, I was like, oh, they're serious. I thought it was a bit. I thought it was an attention bit for either of them. I was like, this is not real. I did not think it was an authentic relationship at all.
Fair
I was
enough.
like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Because it
Fair
doesn't.
enough.
Because when did you meet?
Right. Who? How did...
What rooms were you in at the same time together?
And even if you were in those rooms talking to one another, you are now bonded as part, like you're dating.
She has a child.
Here. Right. How did
Like,
this happen?
like you are now stepdaddy. What are we talking about, Timothy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God.
But like, the more that he talks and the more that we're doing this, I'm like, oh, you're okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's got the same advice as whoever told Sydney Sweeney that they could bounce back from this. Someone who's very misguided, someone who has been told several lies, is going to these people and saying, these things always blow over, people don't really care,
And the
they'll
thing
come
is,
back.
they
Look,
would have 10 years ago. Because
Yeah.
I fully believe, and I was going to make a video about this, and I still am,
Do.
Timothy's comments about the ballet, 10 years ago, no one would give a fuck. I don't think anybody would give a fuck. But
No.
with AI, the celebrity culture death of it all, and
Yes.
people just craving
Yes.
like new faces and real art and connections, that did not fly. That comment was, but 10 years ago, no one would have given a fuck. I think the Met Opera probably would have responded, like some art people would have, chimed in, but the public would have let it go.
I mean, 5 years ago, people would have been like, yeah, I mean, who's going to the ballet? Are you going to the ballet? I'm not going to the ballet. And
No one
also,
would give a fuck.
if he weren't dating a Kardashian, like I can't stress this enough. If he weren't dating a Kardashian and then he weren't the kind of guy who would date a Kardashian, people would go, oh, he's probably thought a lot about this. And he's saying this from a position, like they would have taken the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and this is the final thing I'll say because I need to let you go because I've had you for an hour and 15.
Oh my God, no, it's fine. I'm having fun. Don't worry about it.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Oh my God, no, this is so fun.
We have to do this again.
Yes,
We have to do
please.
this again. The issue I have is that there is a very specific section of Hollywood that the Sydney Sweeney, Scooter Braun, Kylie Jenner, Kardashian, Chalamet mix, even Kanye, it was part of this mix. Tyler, the Creator, is even part of this mix. But
Tyler,
boy,
and I don't know why I keep wanting to give him grace, but he's really getting on my nerves.
it's coming. It's getting to a point.
It's getting to a point. It's getting to a point.
It's there is this group. They are very, very, very tied with the Silicon Valley, very, 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 very wealthy, and that bubble have a very specific view on where the world is going and where society is going that is untethered from reality.
They are in a different world.
They're completely untethered from reality. And anytime they are proven wrong, they just find a way to integrate it into their worldview and not have to reckon with the fact that they are living in an entirely different reality. And their reality will not
Just
say...
like Marty Mauser. Just like Marty Mauser. Bring it around.
It's amazing. I feel... You see, this is what I was saying about one battle after another. It's getting to a point where actually I'm not liking Marty Supreme anymore. Because you are so correct that actually it does not land the message that would be... I said this about one battle after another. I was like...
I need to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight.
I was saying to myself, I think I was even saying it to a friend, these films, I'm giving these films credit for intelligence they don't have.
Yeah.
And
You're
that's
thinking harder about it than the Safdies are.
Now, wait a minute. Now, how is that correct? How is that? That doesn't... Anyway.
And I don't even think that you're thinking harder about it. I think you have like we were talking about the worldview, tethered to you are tethered to reality and where we are in the world. They are not. They are not seeing what we're seeing. And so they're just like, this is fine. He can have no consequences and end up a father in the end. That's fine.
And to some extent, they believe that's the world they live in. And oh my God, the next 20 years are going to be very difficult for these people.
Look, I'm interested to see, because is Marty Supreme nominated for anything else besides Timothy?
Girl, don't get me to lying. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Because if they walk away with a singular trophy, I will have a problem.
I agree. I very much agree. It is nominated for Best Picture. He's nominated for Best Actor, and I don't think anything else. Oh,
Okay.
Best Directing.
Oh,
Don't. You've got no. They've nominated Safdie for directing. I don't know that that's correct. When Chloe Zhao and Ryan Coogler are in that. This is what I'm saying. Why are you making me talk about Josh Safdie's
I'm
Marty
irritated.
Supreme?
I literally, if it's not Ryan for director, it has to be Chloe. The way Hamnet had me in, like, I was.
Listen. Oh my gosh. Hamnet,
Like
last time I watched it.
not to talk about Hamnet, but like Chloe, that was the most beautiful. And I've never said, like, Sinners was inspirational. It was a great film. Hamnet was beautiful.
It was.
That was a beauty, like visually, emotional. That was the most beautiful movie I've ever seen in my life.
My only gripe with Hamnet is Paul Mescal's performance was not tuned in.
It wasn't. But also, I'm glad that I literally at one point I was like, why are you here? Respectfully, William didn't need
We
to
don't
be
need
there.
him. We don't need him.
Jesse Buckley. And I don't even think, I feel like that was my first time really seeing Jesse in anything.
Yeah.
I've never seen Jesse in anything else. And I was like, this woman is this scene where she's at the stage watching, and I'm a theater girl, like watching the first performance of Hamlet in the Globe, period, everything. And it's Jesse Buckley, and that I can't.
And
that
she was just
the hand reaching, and then the shot of everybody watching.
Listen, we could be here, but I was just gonna say the fact that they are making, like, just like Gwyneth Paltrow, why are you making me discuss this film? Like, it was, to me, a really great film at doing the one thing it was doing, Marty Supreme. But, like, there were films last year that did similar things that were not nominated for anything at the Oscars this year.
Yeah.
Why? Why am I being made to...
I'm shocked that Die My Love got nothing this award season. I liked it. I thought it could at least get a little a little something.
Listen,
something.
I didn't like the film, but it had two cardinal sins. It was about womanhood, and it was just a little slow. And between those two sins, that's not sins I see, but those are the sins that meant it didn't win anything. It didn't get nominated for anything. The Academy, if they are going to reward a woman movie, it's almost always going to be... actually, the only person that's managed to succeed at this is Chloe Zhao with Nomadland. It was a rather slow film about a woman, right?
And Chloe's, and we have to talk about Hamnet, because there's an element that no one talked about with Hamnet that I like is my favorite, and it's Jessie Buckley's character, Anne Hathaway, being like this woman of the woods, and like the lore around her, and how people treated her, and like there's something about that that's just like, oh my god,
it's enriching.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And Hamlet is very slow, but it cannot go any faster than what it's going.
And I would say I didn't feel the length. I didn't even feel the slowness with Hamlet. And I mean, I watched it at TIFF with a bunch of my other colleagues, and you know us film people, theater people, we're very judgmental. Nothing really will, like, or at least most of us won't really be. Everyone in the theater, as I'm leaving, sniff, 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 sniff.
I worked at a theater. Everyone that walked out that theater is tissues. People are walking into the theater. I'm scanning their ticket. They're like, I got tissues ready. Like, people were going in knowing they were going to cry, and then leaving tear stained.
It breaks you. And I remember Zhao, after the premiere screening at TIFF, or some interview she was doing, was asked, what should people do? No, she was at, not Locarno, the other one, Telluride, for the premiere at Telluride. And someone was like, what should people do after seeing this movie? Like how do they
hug somebody?
And she said, dance. She said, dance. And I was like, okay, so Chloe, you are Anne Hathaway. The reason that witchiness pervades this film is because you are that woman.
I just can't.
And it has an added layer also because that kind of woman is so ostracized in British society.
The fact that she's wearing red, she's the only one in like a red, like I could go in, oh my God.
Okay, we're doing this with Amorous. We're doing this again at some point, but I must let you go. Thank you so
much. Thank you for having me on, girl. This was so fun.
We're doing this again soon also because I want to talk about also apparently Jessie Buckley has not quite landed with The Bride. Have you seen The Bride
I
yet?
haven't seen The Bride yet, and I'm scared and nervous because the trailer. I have been hype about this movie for months,
Yeah, same.
and the reactions are not good, and
They're
I'm
not good.
nervous.
I'm hearing really.
Because I was automatically down, and then I found it was Maggie directing it, and I was like a
Yeah.
little nervous, but then I started seeing interviews of her talking about it. I was like, okay, she seems
Right.
grounded in it. I'm excited.
Right.
But the reactions are not good. But also people hated him. So like I no longer really am that tied to people's reviews.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is it a bad movie, or did you get your feelings hurt and you don't like it?
Exactly. And that's why I have like my trusted core circle. And
Yeah.
we had someone review it for Obscure. Frankie, shout out Frankie. She is like a scholar of feminist film. So like she
Yeah.
literally went in like, listen, it's serviceable as her opinion is it's
Okay.
serviceable as a film. It's imperfect in its feminist critique, which, everything is going to have some level of being
Yeah, I mean,
imperfect.
directed by a white woman with a white, it's not gonna be the greatest thing automatically, but
Yeah, that was exactly what Frankie said. The pitfalls here is its lack of awareness of intersectionality and how people are able to navigate womanhood outside of being a white woman. There are things that Jessie Buckley's Bride can do that other women just can't. And like
I'm
that
wondering if it's
liberation
going
is
to
not.
be similar to Companion, because Companion I consider a great piece of feminist media. I love that movie. And I don't think it's doing white feminism, but there are like a couple of moments in the movie that it only works because she's like a white woman in this.
Right.
Like, there's an interaction with a police officer that
Yeah.
would not go that way if it was anybody else.
Right.
But like overall, the interaction itself, it's like that's kind of just being a girl. It would have gone differently if it was a woman of color, but like it still works. So
Right.
Bride is just, it's the similar situation where it's like it would have been different, but it still works as an experience of being a woman. So I'm excited to see it though.
I will say I'm going to put Amaris's details, all of her accounts in the description for the podcast. I am really looking forward to seeing your review on this one. Like specifically because I was so excited for The Bride and I'm like, okay, I'm not hearing good things. And like, I want to know whether it's just simply that it's a good romp, but it's like, because the other thing is there is a plague right now of films that should have been made 10 years ago because they don't work now. Train Dreams was one of them. Marty Supreme is one of them. Like films that would have worked 10 years ago that do not work in 2026 is a plague right now.
Marty Supreme 10 years ago would win Best Picture.
It would have been the best thing that happened to film.
It would have been sweeping this entire season had it come out.
Yeah.
Even dare I say 5 years ago. Like I think this would have been. But the problem is, people are woke now, and so it's not working.
This is it. I think the watershed was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Once we did the Everything Everywhere All at Once awards tour, that was it for movies like this. That was it was not woke enough anymore. It was not woke enough to have like a black guy be in on his own oppression to get some money.
Right. And I think also I really think what year was Everything Everywhere? That was 2020.
I feel like it was 2020.
Yeah. So
2020.
Like,
Ooh. Wait,
22?
okay, so when was Nomadland? Nomadland was 2020. Okay, I tell a lie. I think the watershed was Nomadland. Because it was
I will even go back further, and because I will always give Jordan Peele his
yes.
When Get Out came out, it truly that was my first semester in film school, and I will never forget watching that in theaters with a bunch of other film students. The reaction in that theater has always stuck with me, but both from like a black horror perspective. Just the way that people look at movies from like the writer director over the actor and the representation of it all. I think, respect to Ryan Coogler, I think Jordan Peele has gotten lost in this conversation of
I agree
of director, writer, producer. Yeah, and it's sad because I think without Jordan Peele, Sinners, I don't know if we would love it the way we do.
I think that is so true, and I don't think it would have got the budget. Like, between Ryan
Coogler wouldn't have been able to get the rights back in 20 years had Jordan Peele not done what he did with Get Out. I fully believe that. I
completely agree.
I love Ryan, but I think we as a society need to remember our roots, and those roots are Jordan Peele and Get Out.
I think part of the reason he's not remembered in these conversations is because he makes horror films, and horror films are maligned generally. There was a
Get Out
huge...
was put in the comedy category during award season.
Was it?
Yes, I will never forget it as long as I live. I will never forget it as long as I live. It was
I'm
in
sorry,
the
that
comedy.
is...
It was in the comedy musical category.
Stop!
Yeah.
No, that is so...
Everybody was very, very upset. That's why when I love that Ryan Coogler, like when because Sinners got nominated, like people were calling it a musical. People are calling Sinners a musical.
I saw
And
that.
I'm like, hey, we did this last time with Get Out. But this time around, everyone's resistant against calling it a musical. Like, it's not a musical, it's not a musical. But when we did that with Get Out, everyone's like, well, it's funny. So I laughed, so it's a comedy. Because everyone was like, the argument was, what other category would you put it in? I'm like, just because you laugh doesn't mean it's a comedy.
It's not it's a horror. Like, what other category to put it in?
It should have been in like the drama, like in normal, a comedy. Yeah, I would do it.
I mean, half of that was because Peele prior to that had a comedic career, but also, or maybe that was the case, but also it is that sense of like wanting to make a joke out of something very serious that you're saying about white people.
Which I think that's satire, but like I think 2017 was also pre 2020. It was it was like at 2017 there was Jordan Davis, it was Trayvon Martin, it was Mike Brown.
Yep.
That's who that was, and I think not Breonna Taylor. Oh my gosh, Sandra Bland, I think was right before. So we were in the like Black Lives Matter was around, but people didn't really give a fuck until 2020. So when Get Out came out and was doing that conversation and it got put in comedy, no one gave a fuck.
And this is something that is scaring me in culture.
Yeah.
This weird 2020 watershed the girls are bringing in. Because I thought the way I was experiencing social justice was as a gradient. I was in the niche social justice spaces back in 2014 with Ferguson, with Michael
I remember
Brown.
Ferguson vividly.
Right.
And I feel like the vibe.
I thought that the watershed. Was that not the watershed?
No,
Why
not
are we
here. Not here. The way that,
Oh.
because I was in high school at the time. Like, Trayvon happened when I was like a junior or senior. We were like, literally, I think my birthday is 2 weeks after or before his birthday. So like, that happened. I remember kids in my high school were wearing Trayvon Martin shirts.
Right.
Trayvon, like that happened about 2 hours away from me. So like, and then Jordan Davis was like the same area. Like that was the mall that I visited all the time. So in 2014, the vibe was still very much, to me, angry Black people, angry about nothing. Like the way, and then I think they did, Eric Gardner was around that time. Like they were still excusing the deaths of these Black people. Yeah. And then I don't know what it was about 2020 and George Floyd. I don't know why George Floyd was finally the thing that got people to get it. I think it was because we were in the house. I think it was a general frustration with their own lives. And I honestly, especially because, you know, people were just putting on Black blocks on Instagram, it really did feel like they were putting their frustration towards Black Lives Matter and being socially active as a way to express their frustration. And they didn't really give a fuck about what was actually going on.
Right.
Which it's like, the positive side is that now people are more aware, you know, especially 6 years after that. But I think it feels, even at the time, it never felt like it was authentic 100%. Like it just felt like an excuse to get out your anger at what was going on at the time.
That was how it always felt to me, even prior. Anytime anyone would like, outside of kind of Black communities who were actually organizing, anytime like we had in the UK, basically they call it race riots, but we had the 2012 riots.
I remember.
Which to us was our version of what ended up kind of happening with, they called them riots, they weren't riots in the same way. Kind of similar to what happened kind of later with Black Lives Matter after George Floyd was killed. And in a similar way, people pretended to care. And I thought we were past I thought that we were where we were in where everyone says we were in 2020.
You thought you were there in 2014.
I thought I'd seen all of that performative shit, and that now we were actually like maybe getting to the normies, you know,
Yeah.
who had jobs, who were not online as much.
Yeah.
And what's occurring to me is that now we're in 2026 and
Yeah.
people are getting way woker,
Yeah.
and yet somehow, to me, I feel like we've always been there, or at least we've always, anyway, I'm finding the recontextualization of history into these blocks, because if it was performative in 2020, that's nothing new.
Yeah.
new.
Well, see, it was performative, but I think it was the beginning. Like, I think
Got
it
you.
was it was about 50% performative. I think
Got you.
I think they were upset about the situation. I think
Yeah.
it was the first time people really, because we saw that video. But again, we've seen videos before George Floyd.
Right?
Like, it's been documented. Like, Trayvon Martin, it wasn't a video, but we heard the tape of George Zimmerman, and he wasn't a cop, but like we
Yeah.
heard what he said.
Yeah.
And like, I wish I understood the psychology, Lord. I wish I understood the psychology about like what specifically it was
Yeah.
about 2020 and George Floyd that made people be, because I think the true beginning was 2020. 2014 was more performative than 2020. But I really do think it was the being locked inside at that point. George Floyd happened in it was like May, June. It was early summer. We got locked up in March. So we're in the house at least 60 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it was, and we're watching, and I made a video about this. I didn't post it, but it's like, we never processed that shit. We're watching a death count on live TV every day for weeks.
Yeah.
CNN had a tally.
Yeah.
Every day. Like, that is what the Hunger Games is about. Like,
Yeah.
we never process that shit. And I think watching the death toll on CNN every day, I remember the footage coming out of Italy of the body bags lined up.
Yep.
Like, we are watching death in this way that we have no control over. And then finally we see this cop kill this unarmed black man for no reason. And we're upset about it. We know it's wrong because we've already been watching death. And so people use that energy and that frustration and got out in the streets and did something. So it's like, was it performative? Maybe a little bit, but I do think that people were like, "Oh, what is going on?"
Like with the COVID,
it was an accidental realization. I think that happened.
Yeah, with
had George Floyd happened without the events of COVID.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right. You're so right. Because it's like COVID was like the death that you couldn't control.
You couldn't control. You couldn't do anything about it. There was no vaccine at the time.
Right.
So like, people are in the streets with no vaccine. Like, that was early days of COVID. Shit was bad. And
then a policeman makes the decision to kill an unarmed man. Like, at that point, you go, oh, well, that you could have prevented. Like, we could have.
And what I can do, I can't make COVID stop, but I can go and protest in the streets for something that was wrong.
Yeah. And it always baffles me, because almost all of the way that I interact with America when I'm not in America is online, and those spaces are inherently progressive, right? So I am getting a very filtered view of the lay of the land. Anyway, I've kept you entirely.
This is like the black auntie. Okay, I'm gonna get you on.
Let me let you go.
Oh my God.
Amaris, thank you so much. Tell the people where they can find you.
Movies and Yapping on TikTok. YouTube is not up yet, but it will be soon.
Tell them.
It's going to be Movies and Yapping, same handle. And then it's Amaris_Simone. That's my other account where I just kind of do thoughts, and it's less movies, but it's still political and random. But yeah.
Amazing. Amaris, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
We'll be back soon.
All right.
And that is the pod. I hope you enjoyed. We have our virtual Oscars watch party this Sunday on our YouTube channel live. You can find details for that in the description. And we also have, what else do we have? We have offline algorithm every Sunday. Sign up to the newsletter, obscura.co.uk, and get it to you for free. And yeah, see you next week.